Hello, class. I'm going to be your teacher today. Sorry, my name is Marla Marks, and I did grow up deaf since the age of 2. My family was all hearing. I was the only deaf member. There was no signing exposure, so I had to learn ASL myself. I did take speech therapy classes, so I was able to communicate. Oh, all the way up until high school, I was able to communicate with both worlds, both the hearing and the deaf community. I was comfortable in both, so that was nice. Today I am going to teach you about the history of fashion. This industry has grown. When people dress themselves, they dress a certain way for a reason. It could be because it matches their personality, maybe it matches their lifestyle and they connect with that type of clothing. Some people dress to what they can afford. Some people prefer a fancier style, so they dress that way. The fashion industry really began long ago, around the 1700s. It started in Greece because of theater. They had costumes, and they had lots of different makeup, and people were exposed to a lot of that. A lot of the fashion was connected to Shakespeare's dramas. So the history of fashion is really connected to theater. There were also connections to Queen Elizabeth as time went on. She had a lot of money. She had very expensive taste. She constantly wanted the newest and latest fashions and spent money on that and took care of herself in that way. So she definitely influenced her people and the people in her kingdom. They looked up to her. They wanted to dress just like her. During that era, they really wanted to follow the latest trend, what was happening. Over time, years passed and fashion began to change again. The English came to America, and that also really began a huge change, a widespread change in America. American culture varies very much so from English culture. So when the English came, that very much created new trends in America. Europeans would have their clothes brought over by boat, and then they would sell it here. If Americans could afford it, they'd buy it, and if they couldn't afford it, they would just create their own styles and own clothes. And that's how establishments began of different styles, different designs and patterns. Again, years passed, and now what's happening and what's becoming popular are the fashions in Paris. Paris is known as the fashion city. They have many catwalks and fashion shows where the models can walk down a runway and show off their clothes. The fashion designers will create all these beautiful designs and have models show them off. And for American buyers, when they go over there to view the clothes, and they kind of borrow those concepts and ideas for their styles, and that's how fashion is shared. It's also popular in many Italian cities, and it started in Italy and Paris very, very early. Fashion shows are very organized and go very in depth with the designs and how prepared they are for the big show. It's a very big deal. So there are Americans called buyers that travel to Paris during this time, and they are the ones that purchase the clothes and bring it back to America, and they purchase it with the people in mind from their area. What's going to be popular with their area when they return back to America? styles vary from the north, south, east, and west. All of those have different, very different styles. So buyers from those regions go to Paris and shop for them, and then they return. They bring back those concepts to sell what they think is going to sell in their region. People also tend to look up to movie stars. The way that they dress, they have very expensive taste, what's popular. Their people in high school tend to watch MTV, they keep up with the media and the magazines. There's various different ways of seeing fashion and looking up to those people. And they want that as well. They want to match their fashion with what's current in Hollywood. And there really is a lot of exposure to that. There's so many pictures, so many ways to be connected to the fashion world. And it all depends on where you live. If you have an idol, people are going to make choices based on those things, who they look up to. They want to match their style to theirs. That's where trends come from. Trends come from the people who inspire others or who have influenced others. And it happens very often when you have an idol, that's where you get your specific style.